Hi, I'm interior designer Julie Fergus, and welcome to my Simplify Your Home webinar. And I believe that if you simplify your home, you improve your home, and that will improve your life. I've been lecturing and talking about simplifying homes for many years because I believe that a simple home is a happier home. And I know that some people may not be the most organized or like to be fastidious about putting things away, and this isn't necessarily to change behavior. It's just to help you recognize that simple homes work better, and if they work better, they can improve your life. So let's get started. Getting started? Okay. So what is a simple home? It's a place that makes you feel good when you get there, and you look forward to getting there. You feel good there. Your life is enriched there. It has the things that you love. It makes your life work better for your day-to-day tasks. And it really is organized, whatever organized means to you, so that it suits your lifestyle. And what I want to do with this webinar is to inspire you with visual images and solutions to show you how furniture layouts work, talk to you about some ways to evaluate your spaces so that you can recognize some challenges with those. And I discuss room layout basics because you can improve your space and simplify it if you understand how a room layout can work. We're going to talk about some storage ideas. And storage can be a big challenge with a lot of homes. And we're going to talk about ways to maximize your spaces. And I really want you to be motivated so that you can improve your home so that it reflects your lifestyle and it makes you happy and works for how you really use your home. And I'm wondering if you can relate to these spaces. These are unfortunately how a lot of people live because people are busy and they don't have the space, or they don't think they have the space. They have too much stuff and things aren't well designed and set up, and then it becomes overwhelming. Laundry can be overwhelming. Getting ready in the morning, and the bathroom if you don't have the right storage, not feeling like you don't have enough time to even make your bed. I know some of these are behavior issues, but I'm hoping that as we go through the webinar, it will motivate you and inspire you to have spaces that don't look like this. And I don't know if you can hear, but my dog is doing some whining in the background, so I apologize for that. So it's going to start with changing your mindset, because if you can change how you think about your spaces, then you can move forward to improve it and simplify it. And the real reason or hopefully inspiration you get to simplify your home is that you'll save some time, because if everything is in order or in a routine where you know where things are, you'll save time without having to look for it or to start a task, and that can be a big motivation to simplify. And you want to be comfortable at home, and you want it to be enjoyable. So if it's simple, it can be more enjoyable. And if you're organized and you have less stuff and you minimize and downsize, you'll have more time and money to do the things that you want to do and the things that you love. Spend time doing those things. And then how do you start? You ask yourself why you want to simplify and what you want to change. Because if you can figure that out, that will hopefully identify the reasons why you want to do it. Not because somebody else thinks you should be organized, or your kids or your spouse or your family think that you should improve things, but why do you want to do it? And you should really want to do it for yourself. And tackle your biggest energy drain first, and stay focused on those. And it's about purging, organizing, and maintaining to create a simple home. The common everyday spaces are key to simplifying and using your home. The everyday entry, every time you come into the home, what happens there? How are things stored, displayed, and how does it work for you coming and going? Your kitchen. You have to use it whether you don't cook or you just heat things up, but everybody is in the kitchen every day. Laundry, some people and some families it's an everyday task. Some families it's a once a week or a couple times. And I like to try to give you some ideas on making it as enjoyable a space as possible. The home office is a place where all that mail collects, the bills, the paperwork, all these things that you have to deal with, and coming up with a space that works so that it is easy to go in and get those mundane tasks done. The dining area, whether it's a bar counter in the kitchen, a breakfast nook, or a dining room, planning those areas so that it makes it easy to have a meal together or gather or work on paperwork or homework and things. So that's an important everyday space. The bathroom, you have your powder room, but you also have the bathroom where you're doing your everyday getting ready and dressed and all that. So, and that really should be a space that is the most simple, because you want to invigorate and energize for the day or wind down after a day. So it has to be well thought out and a place that you enjoy being. The family room, where everybody comes together, it can bring in a lot of stuff. You want to accommodate people to be able to sit there, play, and relax. So you have to really give that a lot of thought too. And bedrooms are the places where you store your clothes, you relax, and you should enjoy those spaces. And you saw in that previous example where the bedroom with the laundry basket and the clothes all over, that isn't going to enrich anyone's lives if you live in spaces like that. So let's get started and look at some of those weekly tasks that you have to do with too that relate to those spaces. The cooking, the groceries, the mail, the bills, all these kind of unfun things like laundry and all that. Those and cleaning, these are the tasks that you have to deal with, but it can be more enjoyable if you're more organized and you have spaces well thought out. So the nuts and the bolts. So let's get started with some examples. So start with the essence of room design. What makes a room successful? It's the traffic flow through the space and how it affects your room layout. Sometimes you can redirect the traffic flow to maximize a corner for seating, and you can start looking at manipulating that. Start with the function of the room and figure out what your needs are, and then start to figure out how to make it look attractive. Now here's an example of furniture layouts function first. And in the bottom right, you see a picture of this seating area. There's not a lot of space, but this is an avid book reader, and she didn't have space for books. So we maximize the wall space here with some storage pieces, and you were able to get some display and then some clothes storage. We changed, the aesthetics too, but really the important thing was the function. And here's how that layout worked. We looked at the whole overall space and we thought, okay, we have this area and this area, but what's the space in between? So we created a living room, a family room. This is in a condo, so that's why there's no windows on this whole wall. And we had the dining area close to the kitchen. And that left for this question area in the middle, and we made that a seating area. So the key to keep this space simple was to not fill it up with too much furniture, but to give the layout and the furniture based on the everyday needs of the homeowner. So this is showing the empty space. We have the dining area. We're utilizing the wall for a hutch and storage, which is right off of the kitchen. And then we created this secondary seating area so that if you have family, you don't all have to be in the one main sitting area with the TV. You have a little area here. So it simplifies, it maximizes, and gives you some flexibility. And that's really the key to simplifying and improving lives. I wanted to show this because this example is showing a long and narrow space and the traffic flow going from side to side, from one doorway to another, and looking at, okay, we want a seating area, TV, but the room is really long, so you have extra space here. And the purpose of that is looking at it as a secondary opportunity for maybe some other storage or secondary use, and that's what you can evaluate in your spaces. And this is showing the example with the TV and then the two love seats facing each other, and that's a nice sitting area. And then this was a secondary sitting area here and some book storage, and then a storage cabinet here. So that's an example of how you can maximize space on the perimeter of what your basic needs are. Showing how you can simplify it and utilize a whole wall here and then a bookcase on the other end, and not filling it up completely with furniture. And that's also always a good thing to do because, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my dog. Too much furniture then makes spaces cluttered, and it doesn't really make them awesome. And you have to choose furniture that works, whether you already have furniture you already have or furniture pieces you're thinking of buying. Start with the function first. Think about multifunction furniture that offers flexibility, whether it's a drop-leaf table or pull-out sofa bed, things like that, so that you can, serves two purposes instead of just utilizing the space that only does one thing. Okay, let's see. The home office, which is a lot of paperwork, mail, and maybe some other hobbies and things. So this is an example of a home office where you can see the closet is crowded. It's a small bedroom that they turned into a home office. And this shows the books. It shows a large upholstered furniture piece, and the mistake that they made is this piece was actually too large for the room, but we had to work with it because they really liked it. It was comfortable, and you can work around these things. So we looked at the layout. We took the closet and we made it into a desk area, like an L-shaped desk, so that we could keep all of the paperwork and storage behind closed doors. And then let me just get to that picture so you can see it after. Now, I know you may not be a big fan of purple and all that, but it's a good example of how we were able to take all those ugly office supplies and things, and we put them into stock cabinetry that were installed here. And we used the pre-finished kitchen counters, laminated counters, and we put that in the closet and to the side here. So now we've created a home office area which looks more built-in using stock pieces. And now when you look into the room, you see the seating area instead of all this office stuff because it's past your view into the room. But once you get in there, you have a nice L-shaped corner to do all the work. So rethink your closet and think about how maybe you can bring the closet into part of the room so that it can improve your space and make working and doing those mundane tasks like paperwork and mail and bills and things more enjoyable. When you're purchasing new seating, I like to always remind clients to not get too much volume in the pieces. Overstuffed pieces take up more space and don't necessarily provide more seating. For example, this is a nice streamlined arm instead of a big puffy rolled arm because that will just extend and take up more space. So consider the size of your pieces so that they can be as small as possible for your spaces without taking up too much valuable space in the room and making your rooms crowded. The double duty dining room, and this is a good example of a heavy duty table that can take some everyday use, whether it's working on projects, homework, paperwork, and also it can be dressed up for formal dining. But the key is to choose a dining room table that is durable and can be used without being stressed out over it being too fine. Because if it's a nice, big, or comfortable space, it can bring people together, and people can be doing different things, whether you're on your laptop, playing games, but it can be a real central focal point to your home if you choose the right table where it really suits your lifestyle. This is an example of how you can mix a comfy seating piece with a dining table. And here we have a little love seat with a dining table. And this is for a small family. So this is a great way to sit and be comfortable at a dining table, but it's also being double duty as a sitting area too. So you don't have to have formal dining chairs around the table. You can pull up a nice vintage sofa like we did in this one, and it makes for a comfy eating, dining, hanging out space, and it's not, then you don't have to create a separate dining room, and that keeps things simple because you have minimized the need or eliminated the need to have a separate dining room and an everyday dining space. This is a comfortable space that can be enjoyed for many different things that you like to do. An expandable table is just a great invention, and I like to show this an example. This is the everyday setup. It's a round table with a pedestal, which I always, if you're going to do a round table, getting a pedestal table is best instead of 4 legs, because then you can fit more people around it. This is showing the table opened up. I think this table has 3 or 4 leaves. So we've gone from 4 to 6 to 10, comfortable, with real chairs around it. And now you can have a family dinner and a holiday, but the room might be a little more crowded on those holidays. But every day, it's spacious, it's light and airy. So if you're ever thinking of a dining table, think about an expandable table instead of something that is as large as possible all the time, because then it's visual simplicity, and that is also part of the my philosophy. It should be visually simple in addition to working simply to improve your life. And I like to use this one example, this before and after, because this was a kitchen and dining room that were very disconnected from each other, and it made the homeowner unhappy because she was always in this room and nobody else could be in there. It was very small. So in the solution to open it up, we have maximized the dining room, kind of changed it from a formal china cabinet setting to a more everyday, casual, have the family together. And this is another shot of that, showing how it was just a dining room that, didn't really use much of the space, but we kind of made the dining area an extension of the kitchen, because we've added more cabinetry. We put a sink in, the coffee maker under cabinet fridge, and we put the china away into storage containers instead of being on display. So if you thought about how you could make your formal dining room part of your everyday space, that can take either some pressure off of your kitchen, which might be too crowded, and it just might make life nice for everybody to be able to gather around a larger table and to sit and be comfortable on a daily basis instead of being disconnected. And I like to show storage solutions like this because so many people have this, the freestanding refrigerator and then just maybe nonsense or cereal boxes on top. And it's just not an efficient use of that space, and it's also not visually appealing. So if you can build in a space above the refrigerator, you can visually simplify by having some bigger, non-everyday things above that space, and it's out of the way, it's out of sight, and it visually looks good, and you've also maximized the space to fit more bulkier items that may be taking up space within your main kitchen area. And I like to consider a pantry because it can take some of the pressure off of your kitchen to simplify in your kitchen. If you have things within your everyday kitchen area that you're not using every day, maybe once a month, say like a crock pot or a bread maker, those type of things, they really shouldn't be in your everyday kitchen area crowding up your cabinets. They can be either in a built-in cabinetry somewhere else. It can be a closet style. It could be a furniture piece, or maybe it's part of a back hallway or part of the garage, something like that. But whatever suits your space, consider a pantry so that it takes some pressure off of your kitchen to have all those storage items in the kitchen. Now here's an example where we took a closet. It was kind of like a pantry closet before, but we turned it into a working pantry. We took the regular door off, and then we added 2 sets of doors here with rollouts. So now we have maximized the space with very, very small area. So instead of an underutilized closet, like a coat closet or something like that, you can maximize it by getting some either ready-made or a custom piece. This was custom to fit in there, so that you can improve your storage and to make it easy and, again, simple, and turning an underutilized space into something that's very efficient. And you can do that with off-the-rack type pieces, maybe at Lowe's or Home Depot. There's a company called Rev-A-Shelf, and they make these inserts that you can put into existing cabinetry or new cabinetry, and it's super functional. So, maybe you have one problem storage area. You can consider a component like this where it can improve your storage needs and maybe free up some other space in your other cabinets with some ready-made items. Just more examples of how you can maximize your pantry space. This is a nice turntable type solution, and although it may not utilize all the space, but it's really easy. You just turn it and you can easily get your hands on whatever you have. And some narrow shelving, even just 6 inches, you can see fits a lot of product or food storage. So you can rethink maybe some existing cabinet that you have or closet and provide some narrow shelf so that you can store canned goods and right there and in your kitchen, and it's not crowding your everyday kitchen cabinets. Examples of multifunction furniture. The nice thing about this example here, it's instead of just a night table, including a chest of drawers, then provides clothes storage, and then the mirror, a place to kind of, touch up your makeup. But instead of having a night table and then another piece of furniture, you have that chest, which also doubles as a night table. So that's a neat thing about this multifunctional example. And if you have a sitting area or a dining area or a hallway, a nice tall 4-drawer chest like this, you can think you could have so many things stored in there, whether it's overflow linens or maybe it's even mittens or scarves. Here's the front door. But the idea is you can look at a formal piece or a more casual piece and think about where you can put a chest of drawers into any room, and it can provide more storage and it also looks really good too. The everyday entry, I'm always talking about this with clients, and you just have to make it easy because people are going to bring in stuff, and instead of dragging it into your main living area, make it easy. Give them a hook, give them a bench, and then when they're coming in, or even when you're coming in, you can set things down, and those everyday clutter items can be out of your living spaces. This is an example of a closet where it was a nice deep closet and it had a rod and it had double doors on it, but we took the doors off and we hung hooks on each side, a mirror, and this bench that lifts up, and now it's a real functional spot, and it works well when you're coming in with your bag or your groceries, a place to sit it down and hang up a coat. It's so much more functional and user-friendly than a closet behind doors. This is a mudroom makeover that we did. We actually added this space by reworking the kitchen and taking some space out of the kitchen. And these are ready, unfinished furniture pieces that we painted and we hung them, these boxes. We put up beadboard and a strip here with hooks and a bench. This was a custom piece made with a lift top. Now we've created this is like an 8-foot wall. Now this is our family of 4. They come in, and all that clutter can then be out of the main kitchen area. And this is right off of their garage, which is their everyday entry. And then these unfinished pieces that we painted in some colorful colors, making it fun. We have the chargers for, all that, cell phones and all that, and some quick office supplies and mail. So this is like the hub of the everyday coming and going, and it's away from the kitchen. It's next to the kitchen, but you're not looking at all of this. And this isn't even cluttered, but these people are real neat and orderly. But you can see you can make it colorful. You just have to, have some discipline if you want a space to look like this. If maybe if you're not so much of a neat freak, you can, your space will look a little different, but this kind of gives you an idea on how you could potentially improve your everyday space. Even if you just have a wall this big and you put up an unfinished storage box, hung it on the wall, painted it fun colors, put up some hooks. Now you've created a space with some ready-made items that maybe it doesn't take up much space, but you get the idea from this example, which is what I'm trying to do. Give you some examples on some takeaways that you could improve your space. This I just like because this was real simple. You can see it's a more contemporary space, but we added in a server, and this was kind of, a castaway type piece. But we took the drawers out and we painted inside a fun color and we put in these baskets. So this could be your everyday entry where you come in and your keys and your bag or some other odds and ends mail could be put inside the basket, and then you can deal with it when you need to deal with it. But in the meantime, it can look pretty for that everyday coming and going. So even rethink a castaway piece and how you can change it. And it really doesn't have to be expensive. It's just kind of a little bit of different thinking. Laundry is that everyday task for so many people, and this is how it was before. It had these pieces across from each other, and this closet was just a storage area, and it wasn't very well organized. So we moved the washer and dryer into the closet, put up one of those bookcases that were unfinished again, and painted them, hung it sideways, and we've maximized the end here for cleaning products. And then we put up a curtain here instead of doors, because doors, it was kind of tight, couldn't really fit doors. And now it's colorful, the lighting is better, the layout is better, and so the washer and dryer is now in this closet, which you can see here, which is this space. So rethink maybe a large closet that is just kind of crammed and unorganized, and rethink it, and that can be a laundry area, especially if your laundry is in the basement, because if it's in the basement, that is just, I advocate for getting it out of the basement any way you can. Just showing you how that looks with the curtain when it's closed, and then when it's open, because this is right off of the dining room, and it's a nice simple solution without really making any major changes to the space. This is an example of a laundry room. This was just kind of the passageway from the garage to the house, and it is probably larger than your average home would have, but it really wasn't well organized. This utility sink was here, and the washer and dryer was on one side, but what we did is we created a better color palette, a closet here with a glass door. We put in a window that opened up into the other space that had a little bit of natural light in it, a bench. So we've made it a little bit more attractive, comfortable and bright, improve the lighting so that it's a place where you'd actually want to go and enjoy doing your laundry. So maybe you already have a good space, but maybe it's just drab, and you can really change it so that it looks so good, and you kind of feel energized when you go in there, and then it will help you stay on top of laundry, hopefully, and free up your time on the weekends, and you can just kind of do laundry as you go along. This is showing how you can take a laundry area and combine it with, say, a secondary food storage area and pantry, and that's what we did here. We had more than enough space, so we were able to incorporate a refrigerator and more food storage item, and then have laundry on the other side. So if you do have the luxury of having a little bit more space, you can consider how you can make it a double duty space like we did with this one. But I know a lot of people don't have ample space like this, but it was, you might have just a space for the refrigerator and make it a real multi-purpose area. Now these are just everyday spaces in real homes. This is just showing a chest of drawers with a cabinet on top, and how you can just, excuse me, provide some storage right near the washer and dryer. Doesn't have to be, it can be something interesting like this, a vintage chest that's painted. Here we just put shelves right next to the space within this laundry closet, and this is just about 4 inches, 6 inches. But now you can see you can start putting more things right at your fingertips without a lot of space, and that can improve the functionality of your laundry. And I like this one from a magazine because they're showing 2 washers, 2 dryers. And if you have a big family, or if you're doing a lot of laundry on a regular basis, you might have to do something like this, because then you can do more laundry in a shorter amount of time, and that just means that you'll have more time to do the things you want to do, and that's really the goal of all of this. So some ready-made solutions, and I know it's keep talking about laundry, but if every family member in their bedroom, they had these laundry sorters, and everybody sorted their laundry instead of all over the floor like you saw in that one room, or all on the laundry room floor, as I showed in my previous opening examples, you can just go around and grab a bag from each family member's room in colors, whites or darks, and then you just take them to the laundry room and deal with them instead of a big mound of laundry that you have to sort to then do laundry. So if everybody in the family got on board with sorting, having their laundry sorted, it would make it easier for the person that's doing the laundry, which I'm assuming is probably you watching the webinar. So make it easy. This might be a behavior thing that you might have to repeat over and over again to try to get your family to participate, but I live this way as well, and all my laundry is sorted, so that when I have time to do a load, I can just go and get that bin and do it, and I'm not sorting and committing to doing all of the laundry that day. So that's really the goal. So if you create a place for everything, you'll start to be more organized, because you'll have a place for, examples here like some DVDs. I know that's a really small space, but you could have your laundry supplies set up on wire racks, your storage. It's in the garage or the basement is orderly. If you have a place or a shelf, then it's more likely that you actually put something away, or your family will put it away if there's a place for it. So that's the key. Give a place for it, and then the items would probably be put away. I'm a big fan of maximizing the clothes closet, because if you do that, you can fit more stuff in a smaller amount of space. It's more organized, and it makes it easier to put clothes away. For example, if you have space for all of these things, then you'll put them away. If you don't have the space, it makes it more of a challenge to put the clothes away. And that really is what organized closets do. They make it easier to be organized, to be able to stay on top of the laundry and putting clothes away. So consider doing all of your closets so that they're all organized, because that really can be a life changer. You can change some stock items for alternative uses. Like this is a stock cabinet that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's. Take the doors off, put some brackets on it, so you've customized it, but this can be a bookshelf, whether it's a home office or in the kitchen. Instead of just an open shelf, it's nice because it gives you some ends, and it's a unique piece. So rethinking some of the stock items out there to simplify some of your items at home. I like this one because this is just a real small piece, as far as square footage, but it's tall. You can paint it a fun color, put baskets in it. If this was at your everyday entrance, you can see stuff, mail, miscellaneous, magazines, that type of thing, and then hooks on the side. So you can create a little mini mudroom or an improvement in your everyday entry with taking up just a very little bit of floor space. So consider some of these unfinished furniture pieces and how you can customize them for color to go suit what you like, and also to give you some place to keep some things in order. If you have cats, the litter box just right there isn't great, because then the litter is all over the floor. But if you look at a piece of furniture that has doors, you can take the doors off, maybe put a curtain on, and then it can blend in more with your home instead of it being an afterthought. So again, it's a multifunction piece, and instead of it just a litter box being in the corner or the bathroom or something like that, this can keep that organized. An instant closet. Some people don't have the luxury of having a mudroom, but they might have a little bit of space. So this is an example of how you can take an armoire, which really aren't that popular anymore, or a storage piece that has doors. You can take the doors off, put the hooks inside, make it easy for people to hang their hooks up and have boots and things underneath. So there are some stock pieces that you can customize to use to solve some of these everyday dilemmas, and that's what these ideas are conveying. So the motivation to simplify is because simple is visually better. It's better, it's easier on the eyes, as this example here conveyed, and it's also, it makes your space work better. And I like to use this example because before this had a lot of clutter here, and the sofa was too big, the color was bold, this was bold. I mean, it was too much altogether. So we visualized, we visualized it simply, and that also made it work better, it made it more enjoyable, and when those two things work together, it makes the space so much better. It really can improve your life, because if you enjoy being in the space, then that will make you happier, and that really is the goal. So creating a simple home step by step is we started with the function, and knowing what your needs and requirements are key. And I know people just talk about clutter and purging stuff, and that can be a daunting task. So if you can just look around and see, okay, what can I purge that I don't need or I don't use, or it's really not great quality, and you might just have to give it away or just box it up, throw it away, take it to Salvation Army. Fortunately here we have a swap shop, so I like to take stuff up and leave it there, and other people take it and they fill up their homes with it, but the goal is for me to take it out of mine, so that's what I'm encouraging you to do. You can look to underutilized spaces and figure out how you can manipulate them to help you with some of your spaces or challenges that aren't being met in other spaces. Look at your wall space. If you have some wall space that is blank and you want to display books or a collection, that type of thing, then look to maximizing that wall space for that. And start with simple furniture layouts. Don't have more seating or a bigger dining room table than you really need. What suits your everyday needs, and that's what you should use to solve your problem. And you can make it beautiful with a cohesive color. Make your colors all work together from space to space, because that will create a nice flow from all the spaces. It'll visually make sense and won't be jarring from space to space, and that keeps a home feeling simple. And you really shouldn't stress out over it. I know it can be stressful if family members aren't on the same page, but the end goal is because you want to have more time, more flexibility, and you don't want to be managing all your stuff. So think of that as a motivation to make it fun. And then once you're getting things in order, you have to maintain it by staying on top of the laundry, like I suggested. You just grab a bag of whatever color and you're doing it. You're putting away your clothes because your closets are organized, and then you don't have laundry piles, and you're staying on top of the mail because you've created a sanctioned place for it so that you get into a routine. And I say here, before going to bed and before leaving the house, you neaten up the kitchen. One of the things that I try to do 95% of the time is before I leave the house, I make sure the sink is free of dirty dishes, because then when you come home, you don't want to have to clean up a mess. So that might be a big behavior change to make, but I can assure you that if you can do something as simple as that, even in the bathroom, if you straighten up the bathroom at the end of your use, then it's, you just stay on top of it, and then it becomes more routine. And you have to keep your family encouraged and motivated. And I know that can be hard, but if the person who's managing the home is happier, I think that will reflect through to everybody, so it can hopefully spread and more people will get into it, and then the whole family can be on board. I know that might be overly positive, but it can happen. And if you're the one that's in charge with maintaining it, then if you lead by example, perhaps it all works out wonderfully. Because the result is you want to create a simple home so that you can enjoy the things that you really want to do, instead of having to be home doing laundry all weekend, or boating, walking the dogs, or just sitting by the fire. If you simplify your home by being organized, keeping your daily tasks in order, so that when you have free time, you can be doing those other things because you're already on top of everything else in your home. So I hope you enjoyed this and hopefully got a few ideas and some inspiration and some motivation to simplify your home. I ask that you connect with me either on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, house.com, Pinterest, and YouTube. I have some videos. That's me with my bulldog, who has been making noise here in the background during this whole webinar recording. And I do regular Facebook posts with ongoing tips for home decor and design, and also on Twitter. So please, I'd like to hear from you and send me some success stories, some before and afters on how you've been able to simplify your home or change some challenging areas. Thanks for watching, and either write some comments down below or contact me through my website. Thank you for watching.